A retired senior vice president of corporate communication for a $22 billion telecommunications company, John A. Koten has had a distinguished career in public relations. Koten earned his degree from North Central College and Northwestern University. Prior to his successful career at Ameritech, Koten served as vice president of corporate communications for Illinois Bell and New Jersey Bell and as AT&T public relations director. Koten was also the founding member of the Arthur W. Page Society, is a past president, and served on its board of trustees for 20 years. He was the president of the Ameritech Foundation, is chairman and director of the Great Books Foundation, and vice chairman of District 220 Education Foundation. Koten has authored and is the editor for numerous articles, including the Page Society's recently published book, Building Trust. He has spoken at management conferences, academic seminars, and civic meetings throughout the United States. Koten's dedication to his career and love of public relations has not gone unrecognized. He was elected to the Page Society's Hall of Fame in 1995 and is a life trustee of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, North Central College, and the Associated Colleges of Illinois. He received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Quincy University in 1990 and North Central College in 1991.
Leadership in public relations is a very broad subject, and it covers many different aspects of the public relations. First off, I'd say that anyone can be a leader, and there are different ways that leadership can be achieved. Part of it is being knowledgeable, being regarded as someone who is authoritative. And if you have these kind of attributes to you and people look to you, that leadership comes to you naturally. Another way to be a leader is to be someone who produces or writes material that other people can respond to and follow, whether it's a Rachel Carson with this Silent Spring type book, or a book like Boys in the Band, where somebody describes what it's really like to be in a field that changes the behavior of reporters around the world. So that leadership can stem, a person can be a leader, a painter like Da Vinci or Monet or somebody like that can inspire a whole new thing without actually physically being someone that people come to and respect. So I think when it comes to public relations, that there are many opportunities for leadership and there are many ways to be a leader, but no one will be a leader unless they make the effort to want to be that, and I think that is one of the keys to leadership. Well, knowledge is, to me, one of the key factors. Being articulate is another important factor. The ability to motivate others to do something one way or the other. These are critical factors that involve being a good leader and someone that people will respect. Because if you don't have that and you don't have integrity, there's no way that you can be a leader. People as peers and people that worked in the groups that I was involved with was important. I may have been regarded as someone who was innovative, creative, came up with ideas, had a lot of solutions for problems when they were presented. But when it really got right down to it, having great people was the key to any success that I might have achieved. I think there are many different ways to look at that, and I would say that first, to be a good leader, you need to lead by example. And I recall working for a group of different presidents. I actually worked for 9 over my career, reported directly to them. And I learned in that aspect that there's no single way to be a leader or to run something, that there's a wide variety of things. And I can remember when Charlie Brown was president of Illinois Bell, we had a strike. He was out there on the line climbing poles and fixing things just like anybody else. leading by that kind of example, to me, was the way to send a message to the troops all over. If the CEO can get out there and do it, then everybody else can do it. Joe Cook was another person who saw a problem in Chicago. The Chicago public schools were bad. He organized a group of business people and other civic leaders and created the Better Schools Committee. I was his assistant at the time. He appointed me the executive director of the Better Schools Committee, and we actually went out and won a referendum to increase the amount of money for public schools. These are examples you see as recognizing a problem, coming up with a solution for it, and then hopefully achieving some degree of success. People look for others to see what they're doing, and they will follow if the examples are good. Well, I would take two different types of examples. One would be Scott Cutlip, who wrote the definitive book on public relations, which is still 30 years or 40 years later the best book that's ever been written. Now, that's a form of leadership, to be able to create something that people years and years later keep following and use as an example. But my own personal hero would be Arthur Page, for example, who was the first person in the public relations field to hold the title of Vice President of Public Relations, and he was for AT&T. In that role, he was able to significantly influence the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, which at the time was the largest company in the United States. And because he was so effective at doing that, other corporations around the United States sought him out personally to come and talk to their companies and to their boards of directors about what they should do when they encountered various things. Now, to me, that's about as good an example of leadership as one could find.